Welcome to the final episode of my Secret of Evermore strategy guide, and today we will completely explore Omnitopia, get the best equipment and spells, and finally confront the last boss of the game, who has a huge rocket launcher. Yeah. Hey, my name is Toby and this is Toby Continued. Okay, now after your flawless landing into the junkyard, you can find a lone robot in the northeast corner who tells you about one of his missing friends. Remember this spot for later. Then go west from your rocket ship and turn north to reach a light beam that brings you to the next area. And ignore the rats and tentacles on your way. Go past the machines that you saw in the volcano to get to a small prison area. By the way, there are some ingredient spots that you can sniff out here, and you should especially look for all degrees that you can find. Turn the switches to open the prison cells and defeat the inmates. Be careful though, the web door packs quite a punch. Talk to the guard bot in one of the cells to get the neutron blade. This is also the robot that the one from the junkyard was looking for, so go back to him now to get the reflect formula. Immediately equip this spell because it is useful for a boss battle that is coming up soon. However, you need grease to use the formula, and there's only one alchemist on Evermore who sells it, which you meet later before the end. So hopefully you picked up all the grease from the volcano machines and can cast the spell 2 or 3 times. Proceed northeast in the prison to get to the next light beam and onto the surface of the station. You are now in the main hub of Omnitopia and can reach other modules from here. These are organized in a 4x4 grid from A1 in the top left corner where you currently are, to D4 in the bottom right corner where you don't ultimately have to go. D4 is just an optional storage room where you get some items. You actually have to reach A4 in the upper right corner, but the direct path by going straight east is blocked and you have to make a complete tour around the grid. You can get some orientation where you currently are if you look at the front side of a module. The airlocks connecting the modules are locked and you first have to destroy the sphere bots above them. This can only be done by your trusty toaster boy, so go outside through the ventilation shafts and blast the spheres with your laser. Once a sphere bot is defeated, the lock under it opens and the nerd can step through. But don't leave him alone, as there are also these spinning enemies that look like the pyramid boss in Antica, and the nerd alone might not be able to defeat them. Go 1 block east from the prison and enter module A2 to reach the shopping center. You can get some ingredients, consumables and armor, but as per usual I would refrain from buying anything, just save the game and talk to the robots.
Can I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is?
One will give you a color code that you should remember. Exit the shopping center through the southern exit, which brings you to module B2, then go south to C2 and enter the fan control room. Here you should just flip the switch to turn on the fans, then exit the room and go west to module C1. Since you cooled down some of the heat coils by turning on the fans, you can now navigate through the boiler room and pick up the old reliable from the chest next to the exit. Then go outside to reach block D1 and move 2 blocks east to D3 and enter the security control. From here you have access to the alarm and to the light in the storage and greenhouse. Now you would think that you can set the light in the greenhouse and storage separately, as there are 2 distinct consoles for them, and while that would make sense, it didn't work that way for me. I could either turn the lights in both rooms on or off at the same time. I don't know, you might be on a space station, but I guess everything is just part of one big electrical circuit. You need the lights on in the storage room to loot it, but the lights in the greenhouse need to be turned off in order to get through. So I would just switch the lights on, go 1 block east and loot the storage room, then come back and turn the lights off in the greenhouse. You can also enter the color code you got from one of the cleaning bots in the shopping district to disable the alarm. It's not necessary though, you then just have to fight some guard bots later. On the white console, enter the code where 1 stands for red, 2 stands for blue, and 3 stands for green, although it looks more like yellow to me. There is one optional and hidden boss in Secret of Evermore, and you get to him by entering a secret code in the security control room. It's a 3x3 code and you can figure it out by trying all of the 27 combinations one after another. Just think of a proper sequence like 111, 112, 113, 121 and so on until the door on the back side of the room opens. The boss consists of 2 faces that appear on the right and left walls, and they cast a strong version of flash and heal spells. The best way to deal with him is by subscribing to my channel and casting the reflect formula on yourself to protect you from the hard-hitting and frequent flash spells. Then just nuke the boss with everything you got. The reward are credits and 30 particle bombs, and thanks to a bug in the game, you can use the bombs indefinitely as they are not consumed by firing them. If you already looted the storage room at D4, go 1 block north from there to get to the alarm room. If you did not, loot the room now, but don't forget to switch the lights off in the greenhouse afterwards. If you disabled the alarm, simply get the titanium vest from the chest north of you and exit again. If you did not, defeat the guard bots and do the same. Then go 1 block west to reach the greenhouse. You can safely pass the plants if the lights are out, otherwise don't even try to get through here. Don't forget to pick up the cryoblasts near the exit, and again, due to a glitch, you have an infinite amount of them. Exit the greenhouse northeast and go 1 block east to get to Rufflebergs' laboratory. Talk to the professor and he will finally tell you who is behind all the trouble that you had to go through. Anyway, the professor also teaches you a formula to conjure up coral beads, which you can cast if you combine 1 meteorite and 1 dry ice, the rarest ingredients you can find. You can now also buy the strongest armor in the whole game from the computer if you have the credits, which you should have once you exchange your massive amount of gold coins. Loot the laser lance from the chest in the room behind the professor, and from now on you can go to Omnitopia whenever you please. Just land anywhere with a space shuttle, and once you enter it again, you are asked if you want to get back to the station or not. Now the last thing you have to do before you can get to the final boss is finding the energy core that Tiny sent off flying after the battle with Aegis. So land at Ebonkeep Castle, talk to Tinker, get the Atom Smasher from his chest and the Nitro formula from the scroll on the table, then walk over to the chessboard. Enter the staircase that the professor opened and get the core. If you continue onwards, you will meet an alchemist who is the only person in Evermore to sell grease, and if you have the Oracle Bone, he will also teach you the stop and force field formula. The problem of course is that you exchanged all your gold coins for credits in Omnitopia to buy the armor, so you will have to exchange your credits back to gold coins at the marketplace. Or you can have some fun with the pesky skull claws. It's really easy to hit them with a bazooka, and as I said, you have an infinite amount of cryoblast thanks to the glitch. Get back to Professor Ruffleberg and he will give you your last formula in the game. Energize. And oh boy, that thing is a beauty. It massively increases the weight of your charge bar filling up, and that means that the rolling toaster is now a rolling laser Gatling gun and destroys anything in plain sight. Also, the power bar automatically fills and you don't even have to hold the attack button to do so. However, it does not work with your bazooka because you cannot charge it. It's inexpensive to cast and there's no reason to not use it. Now, if you want to make it even more ridiculous, level up the Neutron Blade and cast Atlas and Energize on you. Trust me, it's glorious. Sadly, there is nothing left to do in the game and the only fun challenge I can think of is trying to hit rats in Ebonkeep. But that will probably not entertain you for more than 20 seconds at most. If you want to have the highest damage, healing and defense at the end of Secret of Evermore for the final boss battle, equip the Energize, Supercure, Barrier and Atlas spell and get the Neutron Blade to level 3. Energize and Atlas drastically escalate your damage potential, Supercure completely fills up your hit points and Barrier is the same as the Aura spell and makes you invulnerable. Just make sure to have enough ingredients to cast them. Other defensive spells like Defend, Speed and Revive are optional. And by the way, leveling up Barrier, Energize and Supercure does not increase their effectiveness, so don't even bother. The only spell that you should level up at that point is Atlas, but level 3 is more than enough. And with this setup, the whole final boss battle is a complete joke. But first, you have to deal with some of his contraptions. There are fans and beatboxes that push you backwards if you get too close, and you have to evade bombs that are thrown at you from the sides. Don't get too close to the fans to prevent them from activating, and have your dog deal with them with his laser gun. You can help with a bazooka if you want. Every destroyed fan and box reveals a switch that you have to flip, but wait until all are dealt with before you go for it. Then you have to fight waves of raptors and spinning spheres, which shouldn't be that hard to kill. Just cast Barrier if you want and go ham on them. In between waves, cleaning bots will appear and clean up the mess that you leave. You can take out the cleaning bots, but if you do so, the next wave will also have some metallic spiders, so try and leave the robots alone. After some waves, Carltron will summon a dark version of you and your dog, of which the dog version is the only threat, but only if you don't have a barrier active. The same goes for what comes next, an upgraded version of Magma. He will heal himself after a while, so blast him with energized attacks as fast as you can. Finally, the last obstacle appears, Carltron's personal robot, complete with dictator shoulder pads and a huge phallic rocket launcher. Seriously, I don't know what the developers were thinking here. Anyway, if you don't want to or cannot cast Barrier, you have to be careful, his rockets hurt and don't get too close because there are ongoing explosions around the robot. The safest way to deplete his 30,000 hit points in that case is staying on range and attacking the robot with your dog's laser and with a bazooka. However, if you can cast Barrier, well... With the robot defeated, Professor Ruffleberg deactivates Carltron and you can watch the extended ending sequence and return to your hometown. So congratulations, you have beaten Secret of Evermore, and if you followed my guide you should have gotten all formulas, charms and equipment. I hope you enjoyed this series, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on future uploads. Or you can also watch my live streams. And always remember that this is To Be Continued.